Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, my beautiful Empresses. Welcome to Embody Your Empress. My name is Sarah King, the host of the podcast and founder of Empress Nation. We are here today to delve into our souls, what makes us alive and human, and expand our perspectives into something new that we may never have thought about before. Today, we have two beautiful guests, Stephanie and Janae, joining us from Meraki Sacred Healing. These women are devoted to helping other women who maybe feel a little bit stuck, to help them uncover the truth about their health, which underpins everything that we do in our life, and also their energy, their clarity, and bring in more joy. Ladies, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us. We're blessed to be here.
Oh, I'm excited to hear about your journey and more about what you do in this world. So, if I could start maybe with you, Stephanie, would you like to share more about who you are as a human, as a soul, and how you came to be on this mission in life? And then, Janae, if you could follow with the same.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, my name is Stephanie. I've been a registered nurse for the last 15 years. I've been in healthcare a lot longer than that. And really, what kind of brought me on this journey has been my own health struggles. So, dealing with my own autoimmune disease, Crohn's disease, and really doing all of the traditional things that I had been taught, but didn't really get any results or any relief from that. And so that's really when I started thinking more outside the box about my health and how I can, heal myself. And that's kind of how I started on the journey on the more natural health path. And looking at things from a little bit of a different perspective. I was on a lot of expensive medications through traditional healthcare that I really couldn't afford. I was put on payment plans. I was literally working every week just to pay for those payment plans for these infusions that I was having massive side effects to. And I just kept asking, when do we stop with the medications? Like there's got to be another answer because these aren't working for me anymore. And so I turned towards more nutrition, diet, that type of healing, and have really been able to heal myself. And I'm really in the best place that I have been in a very long time.
That's
Yeah,
so beautiful.
and and I'm Janae. I've been a nurse for 20 years. I've done everything from rural medicine to emergency room. I was also in critical care. I also was director of a nursing home for a while, did hospice. So really had a wide range of different realms in nursing. However, COVID did hit and I did end up getting stuck with COVID. I thought that it was going to be a quick little thing because I was very healthy. I was running, lived a very healthy lifestyle. And I knew it was a matter of not if I was going to get it, it was going to be a matter of when, working bedside in the nursing home or in the ER at the time. It ended up knocking me for 8 months though. I couldn't work. I ended up getting permanent heart, lung, nerve, and joint damage and was getting put on 15 different medications. I gained 40 pounds. I couldn't walk from one side of my house to the other. I was getting sicker through the treatments that we were getting prescribed from the doctors. And finally, I just had enough is enough that I just couldn't do any of it anymore. And Steph and I we were working together at the time, and I knew that she had really helped her own self through the holistic lifestyle. So I had her help me with the body side. But then I also came to realize that there's a lot that you can do with your mind, and my intuitive side opened up. And we realized that there's a very big connection that is actually backed by science of the heart and brain connection, which medicine doesn't treat at all. They either treat the body very, very well or you treat the mind very, very well, but they never really molded it together. So we were really waiting for a doctor to discover our method, and no one ever did. And then we found out in the US, legally, we are allowed to do what we are doing with our nursing degrees. So we left the bedside and we are doing our own way of how we really feel that people should be treated. So, her and I banded together and we started Meraki Sacred Healing with the mission to really help people get their energy back, live a very pain-free body, and then actually determine their purpose again and live it and feel the confidence that they have control of their body. They know what it's going to do and they can really truly live their purpose in life. So it's been amazing. It's been a road, but it's been amazing.
Wow. What powerful work. I have been very blessed. I haven't had any chronic illness. I've been very fortunate.
Amazing.
However, I've known people that do, and the way they've described it to me is you don't know life without it. It is always there. They're always walking with it. So to have a place to come where you're supported, where there might be an opportunity for that to change,
Right.
is an absolute blessing. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That is fantastic.
It was really frustrating, like laying there sometimes going like, why can't I just feel normal again? And is that ever going to be a possibility? And honestly, in my story, I was being told no, it wasn't going to be a possibility. Like, accept this. Your lungs are going to be that of an 80-year-old the rest of your life. You will not run again. Well, I ran a marathon in May. So what our method has done has proven our doctors wrong.
I love that. I love that, because we make our own truth, right?
Absolutely.
They say what they know
Yes.
from reading a book, from going to medical school,
Right.
but you know your body, you know your mind, and you know your truth. So I love that you
Yes.
turned it around and made it
Mhm.
your own. Well done.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, and everyone is so individual too. That's the other thing
Right.
about traditional healthcare is that, it's a protocol for everybody. It's not individualized. And so what we really try and do is come up with a protocol and a plan that's individualized to who you are, how you function in the world, how you live your life. So that it's not this entire, complete change of your entire life and everything that you're doing, because that can be overwhelming too.
It is. And I don't know, conditioning says this is the box you
Oh,
follow. When you feel like something is not quite right with your body, you go to this one person, you follow what they say without questioning it. And it's interesting, I had this conversation with my 9-year-old daughter the other day about something, and I'm like, this is why I teach you to question everything, because what is right for
yes.
you is not going to be right for someone else. It's not going to be right for your buddy. It's not going to be right for me. We need to question things to say, is it right for me?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we expanded the toolbox. Like, basically, we still use what we learned on the bedside in our nursing career, but we really took so many different modalities and really found the commons that really still kind of work. But then again, like, it might not work for Sarah, it might not work for Jessica. So what we really do is and like Stephanie said, we factor in what's their job like, what's their lifestyle like, are they going to be compliant with anything that we say? And we make them be very transparent with us as we're just as transparent with them. So we have this symbiotic relationship to really finally get them the results they want, instead of here's your 15th prescription and here is what I told George to do, and he's a male. Like, it just doesn't work that way.
It
Yeah.
doesn't. And I love that. They need to be able to trust you to tell the truth. So many times
Yes.
people go into an office and they go, oh, and I've done this when I was doing PT. Like, I would not be quite honest on my nutritional, like my food log, because I didn't want the judgment. So how
Yeah.
can somebody come in and help you if you're not telling the complete truth and having that trust in each
Correct.
other?
Well, and part of that
Yeah.
is really important too, because when we're talking about health and your mental health, the way you think, the way you feel, all of that affects your biochemistry too. So if you're lying to yourself about your meal, or you're lying to yourself about these very small things every day, that is a stress on your body. That is a stress on your mind. That is a stress that your body will interpret, and you will release stress hormones in response to those behaviors that aren't necessarily the greatest.
I love the holistic approach. That's so good. And what
Well, and
is
then really, we all have our own little vices. No one is perfect. So that's why Stephanie and I really love connecting with our clients, because we do come from a place of no judgment. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, we used to do silly, stupid stuff too, but then we realized, our body was hurting, our energy was not well. Stephanie's gut was like literally exploding. And it was like, no, we had to honestly first become true with ourselves. And then when we can do that, we can meet with our clients on their level and empathize with them, because this is not an easy road, but it is a road that can be done. And not only are we the experts to provide that information for them, but we are also there to be their coach, to be their accountability partner, to really be there for them when they are like, I really can't be having this alcoholic beverage because my liver enzymes are horrible. They can know that, hey, I got 2 girls in my corner though who are batting for me and will cheer me on, but also won't punish me if I do mess up.
Yeah.
So it's a fun relationship. It's almost like we're your girlfriends in the back corner, like giving you high fives.
It's so important though to make a change that can be huge.
Yes.
Like it can be a huge lifestyle change to have people in your corner to cheerlead you without judgment, to know, hey, I've
Yeah.
got you for the good or the not so good. You can tell me the truth. We can be here for you. I
Well,
love.
and too, it's not about restricting. So, like in the case of alcohol, so say that you do, like to enjoy alcohol. Well, let's just switch it to something easier. Maybe we could find like a kombucha that you would like. Maybe there's something else that we can put in place of that alcoholic beverage that's more healthy for you, but you also get that same feeling of being included. That's part of the other thing is people want to go out and do lifestyle things and hang with their family, and we help you be able to navigate those social situations too. Especially when you're changing something as big as your lifestyle and what you're eating and how you're living within the world.
Do you find that has held a lot of people back from making changes that are
Oh,
beneficial
yes.
to health? Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely. I mean, it's hard when you don't have a support system, when you're trying to eat a certain way, but your family isn't wanting to get on board or doesn't like the things that you're eating. It can be really challenging. And we definitely help people work through that and, try and get their family on board too. Like, sometimes we'll even do consultations with people and have them bring their family with them so that we can explain to everybody, this is why this is important. This is why, your partner, your spouse, your mom needs your help and needs your support. And it's also going to benefit you in the long term too, because you're going to become healthier. You're going to be able to make your kids make healthier choices. It really becomes a whole family change is really what happens.
I'm curious, like when you bring in the families and you have these honest conversations with them, what are their reactions? How is the response?
Very
Usually
concerned.
it's
And yeah, like it's almost like a wake up call. Like they realize, wow, this person was sicker than I thought. Like because they can't feel how the person is, they can only just kind of see from their own observations. But then when we can give them the concrete evidence of like the functional testing that Stephanie is doing, I do a lot of the mind side. So I'm kind of more of a therapeutic approach. I do different modules. But like what they're willing to let me share with their family member, I could also really paint a picture instead of their wife going to their husband going, "Hey, I like my joints hurt this," and to the husband it just sounds like complaining. But when we present them like, "No, this is really bad. Their cells aren't firing here. She's got repressed memories that right here that's causing her shoulder pain and her knee pain that we're unlocking and we're working on." You want your wife to be more present and more joyful and be the mom that she wants to be, then it's like everyone's like, oh, we really need to like tribal around mom.
yeah.
So
So,
it makes the woman feel heard for once.
and the ripple effect is huge.
Yes,
It's not just
totally.
the person in front of you, it is the relationship. It is the relationship with children, family, friends. You're actually bringing
Yeah.
life back to someone and their community. So
Yeah.
precious.
Well,
Like they
and
become even
two,
better business owners and employees and everything. It really does ripple into the whole community.
Well, and two, when you think about community, they've done lots of long-term studies about people who live in what's called a blue zone. There are lots of blue zones around the world of where people are actually living the longest and the healthiest. And what they found is that they need community. These blue zones have community where you're working 5, 6 hours a day, you come home and there's a community around you that's rallying, cooking dinner, family time. They're working together in a community setting, and they have really found that is truly what prolongs life, is not being stressed out, is not taking on the world, is not being everything to everyone. And that's really, I think, what is causing people so many health problems is that we're
Oh, for
overstressed
sure.
and our bodies are not meant to live like this. They're just biologically not meant to live under the stressful conditions that we do right now.
And as you said earlier, taking all the medications, doing all the things prescribed was just getting you sicker and sicker. And yet these other communities, they rely on the fresh food, they rely on their community, their family. They get out and they walk every day and they have movement in their lives and they live just healthy for such a long age.
Absolutely. It really is the key to anti-aging is reducing your stress. People are like, what are the, number one killers? And I truly believe it's stress. And there's many different kinds of stress. There's good stress, like you're jumping out of an airplane, you feel invigorated, you're doing something that you absolutely love, but it's still stressful. That's good stress. There's bad stress. That's like mental emotional stress where you're in your head and you're talking negative about yourself and you're not thinking properly and you're, ruminating about the thing that happened yesterday, or you're thinking about your boss yelling at you. Those are all mental stressors. And then there's the physical stress. You have traumas, your cells aren't working properly, you're not generating energy, your hormones are off, you have intestinal problems. Those are your physical stressors. And so when you have all of those things going on at the same time, you really start to suck from your battery. And that's why people don't have any energy and they're dragging all day and they can't get their work done and they feel like they're not present in their lives because they literally can't. There's too much stress that's just sucking and picking off of them all day long. And so that's really what we work on is, healing opportunities. Where in your life is there a healing opportunity with your job? Where in your life is there a healing opportunity with your family? Where are the physical healing opportunities with the testing that we do? And once you start healing all those opportunities, you stop sucking from your battery and you actually start recharging. And that's the most exciting part to watch, is watching people get recharged. And they're like, man, I haven't felt like this in a really long time. Well, it's because we finally got you functioning like you're supposed to for the first time in a really long time. And you're addressing those things that you didn't even know were sucking you dry every day.
Yeah. So if I was to ask you 3 ways to improve your health right now, what would they be?
So I would definitely say drinking more water. Making sure that you are staying hydrated. I think a lot of our problems today are simply because we don't drink enough water. We're drinking soda, energy drinks, all of juices, all of those things that don't actually provide you any hydration. Your body is actually 70% water. So staying hydrated is one of the most important things that you can do. The second thing I would recommend is getting out and trying to get some sun every day. 15 to 20 minutes sitting in the sunlight, trying to get some vitamin D. All of those are really simple things that you can do that only take a couple of minutes and just a tiny bit of effort every day. What do you have, Janae?
And hug the tree while you're out there, because your trees actually help you ground you. There's a lot of science in it. You can get a lot of good chemicals from the tree that actually invigorates your body as well. But I actually do a little exercise with my clients that I would like to do at the beginning and the end of their day, which goes ahead and releases what is not yours. So what most people do is I'm a single mom, so I can give you this idea. So, a single mom, I have 4 kids that are constantly pulling from me. I have dogs that are pulling from me. I have my clients that are pulling a little bit from me. And so, my mind thinks that I am feeding a village. And so, I am carrying stress of 50 people when I really need to only carry mine. So, a quick exercise I have people do is close their eyes, and in their mind's eye, literally make every object that bothered you for the day, put it in like in a little mental box right in front of you. And then put your players in front of you who contributed to those issues. So they're going to be in your mind's eye in front of you, and you literally give them their box back. So I do that in the morning and in the night. And so then that way, when I'm resting, I'm not carrying my daughter's problems. I'm not carrying my boyfriend's problems. I'm not carrying my client's problems. I gave that back to them. And your mind does not know what is real and what's not real. So when you do this mental challenge, you are literally telling your mind, this is not mine. I don't want this. It's a very quick, easy exercise. You can take it short or as long as you want to do it. Some people have a long list. Some people only have like 4 for the day. Doesn't matter. But really, you have to like she was talking with the many stressors that can affect your body, it can be something little can be that tipping point that set off a chronic disease or set off a cancer to start or set off heart disease. So you really have to keep your mind in check. And this is a very easy one that people can do on their own. I like to listen to music while I'm doing it. But yes, I give everybody their problems back. Um, and we do it in many different dramatic fashions. Like if someone really, like if you saw an injustice done and you didn't see police respond, and now your mind's eye, you can be like, no, the police got that person. Like they're gone. Like you really have to just tell your brain a story every night of really what really happened and what's really mine. Because your mind can come up with some crazy stuff that will have you freaking out over non-reality issues. So those are our three that we really love to really give people. But I would say the walk is probably in between the water and the walk. Those are the very most crucial things that are so easy to implement. It's not a huge pivot, but has a lot of benefit that people take for granted.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know I'm very blessed. I can open my front door and walk straight out, and I've got grass and I've got trees, and I have that available to me like anytime.
Amazing.
And I know that not everyone does. Yet there are opportunities, and you make the space for it in your daily life, right?
One little trick you can do when you go into the nature to really soak it all in is, especially if it's like your same scene. Like I walk the same lake every single morning, so it's the same scene. But to really grab in that nature and to really connect with that, because there's so much that is so much healing capabilities from that, is I always ask myself, what is different? Because there's usually something different in the environment and it connects you faster to what's really going on and it makes you be more present. Because I don't know if you've been out there sometimes before, like you're out there, but you're thinking about what you're doing in an hour or whatever. But if you like really focus on what's different, it makes you be present. So I add that little caveat.
I love that.
I was going to say, when you do the boxes, one of the things that we've noticed too is it helps people with weight loss. So when you're carrying all of these boxes for people, you're also carrying the weight of them. So you tend to end up eating for all of these people that you're carrying their weight for. So it also is a really great trick for weight loss because you're literally giving the weight back to everybody else and you're only carrying your own weight, and it helps you actually eat less. It's very, very interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, you're not eating for a village, you're eating for just yourself. But when you've been doing this and you've been giving yourself to so many people, your body is like, no, I have to eat 800,000 calories because I got 30 people to feed. And so, yeah, it was a really cool little trick that we had learned that people were eating less when they were doing that exercise every night.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing because I know I have been in the past an emotional eater, so I'm going to start practicing this. I'm going to journal up my progress because this will be interesting experiment to run. Fantastic. You mentioned earlier that there were different modalities that had the commonalities that you pieced together to bring your special, unique practice together. What kind of commonalities did you find running through?
So I go through your function first.
Yep. So I do most of the functional testing. So what I try and look at is about 5 different systems within your body. We look at your hormones, your digestion, we look at how you're detoxing, we look at your energy production, and we look at your neurotransmitters and how your brain is functioning. And we do those with the functional testing, looking at your cortisol levels, your estrogen, progesterone. All of those things are interrelated. So if you're not producing hormones right, your intestines aren't functioning right. If you aren't clearing hormones right, your liver is congested, and that's why your hormones aren't balancing properly. So it's really important as far as what we do is to look at all of those systems at the same time. That's where we find traditional medicine gets into the weeds, where you're sent to a different specialist that looks at just your thyroid, and then you're sent to a doctor over here that looks at just your stomach, and then you're sent to a doctor over here that looks at just your brain. But none of them are looking at you all at the same time. They're not looking at you as the whole person, as the whole picture, and looking at everything and how it's interconnected. They all are great at their certain specialties, but they're not seeing how all of those specialties interact and combine. And so that's what I do with the functional testing. A lot of it has to do with food sensitivities. People are very sensitive to what they're eating, and that is really a huge driver of underlying inflammation. So that's one of the biggest things that I recommend for people, is that we have to know what your food and what you're sensitive to. And that's one of the most important tools. And then once we take that, we find out kind of how you should be eating. So I work through a process called metabolic typing. And what it is it's based on the fact of how your genetics are, where your ancestry came from, how you should be eating. You know, we should be eating from the land that we are currently on. Right now, with the availability of food and, you know, different cultures everywhere, we're not eating ancestrally what we were able to before. We didn't have access to Chinese culture and be able to eat Chinese food. We didn't have access to Indian culture and be able to eat Indian food when we were, you know, hundreds of thousands of years ago. And so our bodies are not primed genetically to be able to handle those foods. So we do a test called a metabolic type test. And it goes through a lot of your physical characteristics, how you behave, what you look like, and it comes up with a diet plan that's more towards how you should ancestrally be eating. And people have found once they start this diet and eating how they should ancestrally be eating, everything changes for them. The food sensitivities go away, their inflammation goes away, they start to get more energy, and it's literally a game changer. So that's really what my portion is. It's really working on diet, exercise, finding these hidden stressors, you know, looking at the products that you're using, the makeup, the cleaning products, all of those things are small stressors that your body is dealing with every day that's sucking from your battery, and we need to recharge you. And so that's really one of the most important steps.
Then what we learned was your heart, I don't know if you know this, actually has neurons in it. So your heart and your brain are supposed to be connected. So what we found is when people's bodies were primed, we finally got them eating the right thing. Their cells are working, their gut biome is improving, but yet they were still having depleted energy. They were still having chronic pain. We realized that point it's in the mind. And so I got trained in Reiki. So I really opened up all the energy channels through all the chakras. But then I also got trained in another modality that's called holographic memory resolution. So when you and I are looking at each other, you are a hologram, and our environment around us is a hologram. So sometimes what happens in a traumatic event is your brain actually backs up about a half a millisecond, takes a picture and freezes, and it takes a picture of the whole environment, the hologram of that environment. So 20 years, maybe 15 years later, you get one piece of that hologram. It could be a color, it could be the sound, it could be a word, it could be the person's the same size. It will trigger your brain back into that memory. And so your brain thinks, I am still there, back to the original traumatic event. We have found that this has really worked with people with injuries that have happened decades ago, and they're still having the chronic pain from that, but like legit, everything's showing, no, everything healed. Your brain didn't. So what I do is through the holographic memory technique, is we re-pick. We don't really I don't make people really relive the event. I watch it. It's guided. It's totally patient centered. But what we do is we figure out, give you an example. I'll ask a person they have knee pain, and we find out that the first time they had knee pain was when they were 7. And as they're kind of in a meditative state a little bit while we do this. But then, like, I ask them what's going on around them that's causing the knee pain. And then they're like, oh, well, my dad hit my knee with the table when he was mad. And then we tell your brain a different story. We find the moment of encoding, which is usually, I thought I was going to die, or something that really triggered the emotional traumatic response. When we get there, we tell the brain a different story. What would you have liked to see happen? What would you wish to have happened? What would make that version of you happy in this moment. And we do that. We say like, "Oh, like, well, I would have been happier if my dad would have apologized right then when he pushed the table." Okay, well, your dad just apologized to you. Have him apologize. And so we really tell a totally different story, and it literally cures people's pain overnight. And sometimes, depending on how traumatic the event is, we might have to do it 2 or 3 times because there might be like we might have cured the sound part, but we still didn't cure the smell. So we have to figure out that we really cured the whole hologram. But that has really been a game changer when we're like, okay, everything on paper looks good. You're doing the lifestyle changes, but why are you still having issues? And we found this was the missing link. Therapy is great, but they usually just make you talk through the issue, but they never resolve it. We resolve it. And then the last thing that I call the cherry on the top and kind of our graduation is I'm trained in human design. So when you really understand how you are supposed to react in the environment around you, it makes you really figure out who you are, what your purpose is. I do more than what you can just do online. Like I really go in depth to all the gates, all the channels, what your incarnation cross is, what more than just the energy type. Our clients get a 68-page report of them that we give them that's published, and we usually give that again at the end because it is very overwhelming because 68 pages about yourself is a lot. So we work on it through each session with me. Our clients go through a session a week with Steph and then a session a week with me. And so we really work on what's working, what's not working. And so we found that that really helped cure that heart brain connection, which nobody is doing. They, like I said, they either focus on the brain or they focus on the body. Or, like Steph said, there's doctors for 7 different areas when we are like, no, it's really this connection that has been completely lost and ignored. And we found when we were using that connection, it was a game changer.
You know, the day as we are recording this, I actually only found out about neurons in the heart this morning. So
No.
it's so aligned to
Yay.
bring that up literally the day
That's
we're
so weird.
at, like,
Yeah.
coincidence? I don't know. And it blew my mind. Like I was watching, thank you, Instagram. I was watching a reel and they actually had a heart and they showed it unraveled, which because
Yeah.
it's not all one, it was like it's one long sort of thin thing that sort of
Mhm.
winds up. And they were talking about the neurons that are the same as
Mhm.
what's in the brain being in the heart, and that when it's in the at the angle in the chest that it's at, it creates vortex.
Mhm.
And that we are the vortex. And I was just like, that is incredible. Like here we are thinking the heart is like a literal heart shape for so
Yeah.
long. And we find out that it's not, it's that weird looking thing, but it's actually not a weird looking thing. You unwind it and it is
Yeah.
like magical.
Well, the creepy, not creepy part, but the fascinating part, and this is what really frustrates Stephanie and I, is we were conditioned as a human society for I don't know how long, but to think from the wrong part. We are not supposed to be thinking from the brain. We are supposed to be thinking from our heart. Ancients knew this. That's why the Egyptians put the heart in a canister. The heart is where we're really supposed to be thinking from. So when people do work with me, I teach them how to think from their heart, not from their brain.
Mm. If we
So
can
it's been
get
really
back
fun.
in here, if we can get back and get back to
Yeah.
You
the
can literally cure so much. You can change your whole DNA. There's a study of epigenetics, which also they with our technique, the guy who taught me the holographic memory resolution, he's been doing it since 1992. He taught me this technique. He worked at the World Trade, not the World Trader, the Oklahoma City bombings, which was big in the US, but then he also worked on a lot of the tsunami victims in Japan when they got hit. He really just went in and like resolved the trauma right away. But what he has discovered is this is really how we are supposed to work. And with the study of epigenetics, if you heal yourself in this timeline, it has showed it actually repairs the DNA 5 generations back and 5 generations in the future. So some people's purpose might actually be here to cure ancestral DNA. So it's really kind of interesting, and it's been very fun to see what it has done in our clients, how it's really got them to love life again. Like they're curious about life again. Like it's not just I'm on autopilot existing. They are now participating in the present, and it's really fun.
Mm. So when we're wondering why me, when we are going through something, hold that faith, hold that hope that it's you for a bigger reason. Like you have the ability to
Absolutely.
heal this for
Mhm.
generations, front and back. Because otherwise, trauma will
Yeah.
store in the body and it will continue to stay there until you make a choice to
Yeah.
heal.
And actually, what's really interesting is I had a client that we were doing the holographic memory resolution on, and one of the memories that we came up with was actually not hers, it was her grandmother's. So she didn't know about it. We had to go through some like family talks um, about an eye problem, and then her grandmother was actually shot in World War I in the eye. She didn't
Mm.
know. Nobody knew. Like a select handful. So she was actually carrying her grandmother's trauma in our session. It was very weird. But her DNA still carried that memory.
Well, that makes sense when you look at, eggs are
Mhm.
carried within
The
generation
split. Mhm.
generation. So we are
Mhm.
holding like that far back already without even going energetic, sciencey, like
Right.
spiritual, woo woo. If people don't believe it, like you are
Right.
holding from the grandmother already within our DNA. So that to me that makes complete sense. I'm like,
Yeah.
wow. Do
Yeah.
you only work with women or do you work with men as well? And is there a differing when you work with them?
We work
We
with
work with
both. We
both.
work with women and men. There is a little bit of difference. We find that they have more hormone problems for me on my side, more problems with their testosterone, more problems with their estrogen. So that's really kind of my focus when I'm working with a man. Usually it's mostly weight loss. Is usually our deal when we're working with, at least on my side, working with men. It's mostly weight loss.
And I've been working with them more on the PTSD side. A lot of the vets that we've been working with, my boyfriend was in the service. So I've been connected with a lot of his friends who are also in the service and basically retelling their war stories to them so that they're not carrying on the pain and everything like that. Primarily, at first, a lot of our clientele were women. So we did start like saying that we were just doing it to women, but then they started talking to their husbands and their boyfriends, and then they're like, "Hey, we wanna know what's going on." So we've opened it up to both. We do still do a lot more women than men, but I think it's also just because there's a social stigma with men of like, "I'm tough, I don't need this." But I have noticed in like at least the last 2 to 3 years, there's a lot more men who are like, "Okay, mercy, I don't feel good. Like, I'm
Yeah.
ready." And so it's starting to be more accepted among them. They are a little bit more hesitant with what I do because it is woo-woo. But like I did my boyfriend's human design chart and he was like, "What is this craziness?" And he's like, "You just followed me around with a camera. That's what you did." I was like, "Oh, it's like literally built in you." And so it's been fun to really just see how it has helped both men and women.
I'm really excited about this. Like I'm excited that men are
Yeah.
getting on board with the healing journey.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too. They
Yeah.
need it.
So I wanted to ask
They
because I'm like,
probably need it more than us.
yeah, exactly though, right? And often it takes
Yeah.
a woman in their life to be like, hey, this sounds like it might be really awesome for you. Are you open
Yeah.
to trying
Mhm.
it? And the more that we can share these opportunities, the better,
Yeah.
the better. Like, just, oh, I'm so excited for them. Oh my goodness, we
Mhm.
could talk for hours about this, honestly, hours.
Absolutely.
It is so fascinating, and I love the combination that you have brought in, and especially since it's come from your own personal experiences. Um, Meraki Sacred Healing. Can you tell me what the name means?
Yes. So Meraki is actually a Greek word that means to put your soul, love, and creativity and essence into everything that you do. And so that is one of our very big values, our core values of our company is we lead with the heart and with the intention. Like we really want to make sure that what we're doing is fully serving the client in front of us. And so it's a Greek word. And I was trying to, I was the one who found it, but I kind of put it into the universe of like, give me something, words that would match this intention, and this is one of the words, and it sounds cool, so I was like, I'm down. So I like it. So that's how we came up with it. And we wanted to put the sacred in there just to give a little bit of the intuitive side. um when people do work with me, I do have a very big intuitive side that comes out, so I will ask questions sometimes being like, hey, did this happen, or have, and honestly, I think that was a little bit with the, you just learned about the neurons this morning. That was just a little bit of my intuitive side. I always get weird stuff like this happen with clients where it's just like, this was really coincidental, very weird. So that does follow with it. And so that's why the sacred is in there, but we really do want to heal. Our goal is to really take this worldwide and teach nursing schools different, like teach nursing schools our method, teach them the Meraki way, really get doctors on board to not just be so set in their rigid programs that no, you can think outside the box. It's allowed. I do love that neuroscience is really starting to open up into what we do and realizing how important it really is. So science traditional healthcare is starting to get a little bit more woo-woo. They're starting to incorporate it a little bit more. I actually noticed on some job postings for nurses right now, it says holistic comforting care. And I'm like, oh, well, you guys want holistic now. When her and I would have to like literally whisper this stuff when we were working in the hospital. We would have to like be in the back corner and be like, this is what we really should be doing. We had to whisper about it because if we, I mean, we almost, we had our jobs on the line a couple of times with stepping outside the box.
Yeah.
I'm so
Unfortunately.
excited to change. Like this is the change that we need.
Absolutely.
So excited. It gets my neurons in my heart fluttering like the
Me
flutter.
too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
All right, ladies, I have some Empress questions for you both. Some quick questions. So, how do you embody your Empress?
I would say I embody my Empress every day by really trying to give love and light to the world. I literally, every interaction that I give, I really try and connect with people, even if it's just a simple at the grocery store, like connecting with the cashier, connecting with the gas station person, just really trying to give love and light to the world, because I think it's what we're really missing. Everyone is so me, and self, and we really need community and each other.
Beautiful. Janae, how about you?
Yeah, so what I do is I looking at my own human design, my purpose is to actually show people the joy of life. So I really try to embody just having so much fun in everything that you do. And so I really try to bring out the happiness in people in a however silly way it is. And I literally live authentically. And I used to be such in a shell, but then I realized I don't care about the judgment around me. And I don't know if you've seen like one person starts dancing, then another person can start dancing. I'm the one that starts dancing. I really want people just to be okay in their own skin. They're supposed to be. And society has told us, no, you have to conform. You have to be this way. You have to be like, all these people. You have to look like the girl in the magazine, where I'm like, no, the girl in the magazine is too boring. Like, you're supposed to be you, and being you is the best thing ever. And watching people finally put down the masks and be me, be them with me, it becomes really fun. And that is another thing that Steph and I are one of our big goals is we really want to bring retreats and bring people to us and really open this up. We're a little bit of ravers. And so like we want to like we really it's the best way to release such good energy and stress. And so like we want to really teach people to love life. Like you're supposed to be here to learn, but you're supposed to also love it and experience it. And people are missing out on that. So that's how I do it.
That's when it recharges your battery. You got to do things that you love and find joy in order to recharge that life battery inside all of us.
Yes. And I love that, dropping the mask. Like we are so used to putting on that mask and being like, I have to fit in. I have to, no one look at me. I have to fit in. Ridiculous. pull it off, drop it, burn the mask. Just be who you are and have some
Well,
fun
what's
doing it.
crazy is when I have our clients do that for maybe only like 5 days, they feel kind of silly because they were like, "No, people still accepted me for me. Like, why did I hold this out for so long?" And I was like, "It's just your silly, irrational fear. Your brain is your best friend, but also your worst enemy. And it wants you to stay in that survival mode, and it's comfortable being self conscious. And so
Mm.
when we teach the brain to not be self conscious, then all of a sudden that goes away and you can live that authentic self without those borders. It's really cool.
It is
It's
so
really not
cool.
that scary.
I love it. Beautiful. Next question. What does your Empress energy feel like?
Ooh, I would say my Empress energy probably feels like the sun. So it just radiates and just like everywhere, all out onto everybody. They can feel my energy. I feel it when I'm around people. Like I don't know if you can tell, I have like glitter streaks in my hair. So
Oh,
I love having glitter in my hair. I get so many compliments. I get people coming up to me and being like, I just love your hair. And I'm like, oh, I just love that you came up to me and said thank you. And, you know, it's again an opportunity to like spread light into the world and bring my sunshine and my light going out everywhere.
I would say mine is a big warm hug. Unfortunately, in a lot of our sessions with me, people do cry because I open up a lot, but they feel so good afterwards that they do feel like they got all of our work is done telehealth mostly, so we can help the whole world. So there is times where I am seeing them across the screen, but they feel like I'm in the room with them. I have every patient interaction I have had, even when I was at the bedside, they'd always be like, "Oh, you have to go." Like they just like I'm just like the comforting hug. I give hugs for free. I'm a hugger. And I just love everybody. Like it doesn't matter if you treat me terribly, I will find still one thing that I can honor and love about you, and I will just hyper fixate on that. Like, because everybody was put here for a good purpose. I just think sometimes events in their life has turned them a certain way. So I always look at them as the little kid. Who were they as a 4-year old? And I'll honor that, you know, because we were all children, we were all innocent. And so I still give the world grace.
oh my goodness. Ladies, that is
See,
so
you're already
I know.
feeling the hug.
I feel like I'm gonna cry.
See, they always cry.
Thanks, Janae.
You're
So
welcome.
beautiful. So beautiful. Usually I end this with what are your parting words of wisdom for your nation? But we've had so many already. Is there anything else you'd like to add to that?
I just want to say, you know, honor yourself and your journey. You know, you again are here for a purpose. You know, live the way authentically that you want to be and be honest with yourself. I think if people were more honest with themselves, everyone in the world would feel a lot better.
I have 2 phrases I live life by, and I make my clients, like, write this down and live it religiously. The first one is, "Yesterday died. You can't go back, you can't fix it, so you have to leave it alone. Tomorrow has not been born yet, so you also can't fix that either. The only thing that you can really influence and change is the present. So you have to start learning how to live in the present." And the other is life is never done to you. It is done for you. So you have to find the lesson in the struggle, because if you find the lesson in the struggle, you will not follow into that victim mentality. You will not follow into that survival zone. You will realize that this was like built for confidence boost, or this was built because I made mistakes. I need to learn processes better. Another part of my human design is I am the rising phoenix, which means I am supposed to get beat down and come up. And Stephanie can attest this. I live a very chaotic life where I have stuff happen to me very regularly that I could write a book. Actually, people have asked me to write a book with how much tragedy I have lived through. And I did have that victim mentality for a long time. I was like, "Why what did I do wrong? Like, why is this happening to me? I'm a good person. I try hard. I work hard. Hardly ever call in sick. I just give and give and give. What have I done wrong?" And it wasn't maybe it was my intuition finally saying, but it was, no, this was done for you because you were going to go out there and change the world. You have had to have this experience so you can teach and you can empathize. And so then now when I look at problems, I'm like, okay, here's another lesson. What is the lesson? And it really, and I realize this is everybody's experience. They're supposed to be learning a lesson in this. So that's what I really want people to reframe is when life really feels like it's falling apart, it's done for you for a lesson. And one last thing with that is it's also could be a life transition. In order for something good to happen, you have to shed the old. So I really tell people when they are really working on themselves and their self-development and the self-improvement, life gets freaking messy and it gets really chaotic and you do feel like it's falling apart. But that's because you have to shed the old because your body only holds room for so much. And you can't have this whole new life coming on top of the old. So it does get a little chaotic, but that's seasons. And there always end up being seasons of growth. So I tell people when they're going through this, look at the last hard season you had. You're still here. You lived through it. It wasn't as chaotic as it was that you thought. It wasn't as catastrophizing as you thought. So this one's not going to be that way either. Just breathe. I teach people to breathe their colors and just calm down and again, live in the present. Don't live in something that hasn't happened yet. Don't live in something that you can't go back and fix. You can only be who you can be today. So those are mine.
So beautiful. This whole chat has been full of wisdom. So anyone listening, go back and listen to it again, get your journal out and write down these key points and hold them as your anchors, and then reach out to Stephanie and Janae at the Meraki Sacred Healing because you need a best friend when you're on your healing journey. You need someone in your corner. You need their wisdom and expertise done in a way that holds you safe and secure and nurtures you as you heal yourself. That is the magic they bring. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Thank you so much, Janae. It has been a pleasure having you on Embody Your Empress.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.